I didn't realise what a big industry the wood industry was in this whole area. I mean, I did know that the docks had huge imports, but I didn't realise quite how huge.
I had no idea about Libus, this huge international factory, the great timber yards. I'd never thought about the canal. I'd never thought much about the Surrey docks and the imports of timber and what an important role timber played in so many industries, not just furniture, but matchmaking, packing cases, all kinds of things, aeroplane manufacture. You know, it was really interesting, I think.
So the aim of the Raw Materials project is to uncover the local heritage of East London and Bow. Some of the people who've been living here a lot longer sort of remember it, but that visual kind of leftovers of that really rich history which had incredible effect, not just on East London, but the whole industrial development of London, that's quickly disappearing with the redevelopment that's come with the Olympic Park. So it was really important for us to do this series of exhibitions now and really tell that story. There's such a vast industrial history of East London that to look at it through a material has been really interesting, and we decided to concentrate on wood first and foremost as it's probably the most raw.
I suppose the choice of what we decided to include in the show was a kind of combination of wanting to get little aspects of different businesses like the timber yards and the furniture makers and some of the other industry like the printing industry which used wooden blocks. Also, immigration was a kind of really important part of the story we wanted to tell as well. Yeah, it was difficult. There's almost so many different stories going on within this one show.
So this project was a really great way for organisations that have been here for ages, like us and obviously the local archives, working with organisations who are new to the area, so people like the V&A, London College of Fashion. You know, we're all very interested in the heritage of the local area of Bow, and Raw Materials really gives us the, the platform to do that on together.
Well, as part of the Raw Materials exhibition, I was a member of the steering committee, principally researching the exhibition. So I enjoyed the opportunity to go to lots of archives and record offices and behind the scenes at a number of museums.
The steering group was a really interesting way for us to approach the research of this project. They were made up of members of the community. We had a huge age range, and the fact that the research was led by local members of the community meant that we got a much better engagement with that community once we got to the sort of sharing stage of the research. The steering group have also been amazing in learning new skills, research skills, speaking skills. They had oral history training. Getting funding from the Heritage Lottery to do that kind of training is amazing because we don't usually have that capacity.
To end up writing a section of the catalogue, that was great. Loved the opportunity to run a workshop working with one of the other volunteers on poetry and bring another group that I'm involved with into it. So it's been great to open the doors of something like this to a much wider audience.
So the exhibition was the end of celebration for the Raw Materials Research Project, and we've got some really lovely archival materials, and so to be able to show them here in context with other materials from other local archives was really exciting for us. The exhibition also features Zilka Detmers, who's our resident artist. Zilka did a brilliant job of making that history really relevant to a contemporary audience by interpreting it in quite an interesting way, quite a funny way.
It's not real wood that I'm interested in. I'm interested in fake wood. I have had for some time an occupation with wood printed on paper, because paper, as everybody knows, is made from wood, and that has a sort of paradoxical quality to it. I wanted to add another way of thinking about wood production, thinking about industry, manufacture, and in a way something so overlooked and ubiquitous as a Lego brick is just a vehicle for that.
Alongside the show, we've had a really great event programme. So we've had family wood workshops, den building. We've also had some really great panel discussions. We've had events that explore the River Lee, so boat tours, walking tours, cycle tours. So not just inviting people to come to this show and learn about the history of their local area in an exhibition setting, but actually, go and explore, go up the River Lee, see those little visual tropes which are still visible if you know where to look for them.
Two guys who were local to the area, and they were reminiscing on what they could remember about the area as kids. So it was nice going through with them, like looking at the old photographs, for example, and they told me their take on what the experience was like. And one guy, he heard his mother talk about women that used to work in the match factory and how they used to chew on the phosphate of the matches, and they used to get these really sore gums and all these diseases which I never knew about.
The series that just started with an idea of 3 materials is very quickly expanding. There are so many exciting materials that we found through our initial research, and so we really hope to continue it, maybe even year on year, especially at this key time when there's so much redevelopment in the area.
I'm trying in my mind's eye when I walk along to see the timber yards, hear the noises, hear the horses, see the canals go up and down, and think about the people who, spent their whole working lives there, really. This is a bit of East End history that really hasn't been looked into before, which people can now access and feel proud of, actually. So not just the glamorous silk weavers and the Jack the Ripper tours and all the other stuff that goes on, and the Huguenots. This is just ordinary people doing ordinary jobs with, well, an ordinary but fairly super material.